Our next speaker is Mark Adams, and we're talking about case history, the story tree. So Mark's career spanned advertising, graphic design, and branding in the US, the UK, and New Zealand. He's worked with New Zealand's largest corporations and institutions, and many small businesses. His approach to brand design is a brand that is part of a larger story, not a logo on a page. An award-winning designer, he helped set up New Zealand's Best Design Awards and is the original founder of the Designers Institute. Mark's been a Toastmaster for many years and is a member of One Hour Toastmasters. Please join me in welcoming Mark Adams.
What's the clicker situation?
You got a new one.
There's a replacement needed. Okay. So this should be green. Is this a?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's green. Yeah, great. I have a green microphone. Brands. We know this brand, but we know our whole life is surrounded by brands everywhere we go. You go into a supermarket, the shelves are lined with brands, all those images and words and pictures and packages and packets and everything else. But there's not just the logo on that package. That's what we see, but that's not what a brand is. We know that. We know that's not what a brand is, because the brand is actually telling you what that product is, why you should buy it, what it's made from, how it's made, who makes it. It's got a big story behind it. The brand is actually a story. Now, with a bit of luck, will either go back or we'll go forward. No, we went back. Okay. I'll show you where the buttons are. There we go. It's to the left. Yeah. Right. No, but I want to go forward and back. Yeah. So the left is forward. Right is forward. Didn't work that way, though. Brand is storytelling. That's what I do. We all know that brands exist. We all know that they're a big part of our life, but we sort of often forget that brands are actually about storytelling. No, it's not working. Maybe I could just ask you to advance.
You're going the wrong way.
There we go.
Well, take it around.
So I've lost my place.
Oh, they're amazing.
I see. Upside down. I'm simply going to go back. So I know. Well, I won't go back.
Here we go.
So, can I just ask you to advance this? So, brand is storytelling. That's what a brand is. It's telling stories. Advance, please. Now, everybody has a story to tell, because brands are no longer confined to products and services that someone is trying to sell to us. Some of us remember that a brand actually originally was literally burning your mark into the hide of a cow, as so reminding everybody that that cow belonged to you. It had your brand on it. Very much more than that. And especially with the whole social media environment we live in now, everybody who has an online presence also has a brand. So we all have our brand stories. Advance, please. But the thing about creating a brand story, and this is a very Toastmasters thing, and it's picking up on what Vince was just saying, it's not about you. It's your story, but it's not actually about you. It's about your audience. It's about how you connect with what they want and who they are and what they want. So the setup's a little bit hard to my distance, long visions and so forth. It's about who they are and what way they want. That's what your brand story is. Advance, please. So it's not just a logo on the page, and it's picking up on what Elizabeth was saying as well. It's everything you do. It's not just that logo. It's everything you do throughout the activity that you're doing to connect with your audience. If you think of a product in a supermarket, it's not just the fact that that package looks really good. It's how that product actually performs. It's how you remember what it is and how the company that made it has put it in front of you. It's a much bigger story. Advance, please. The brand design is brand storytelling. And a great brand resonates. It tells a story and it communicates that story very well. Now, some of those brand stories are completely fake. Unfortunately, it's a reality of commercial existence, but great brands have a kernel of truth in them, or even a big part of it is true. A great brand story is based in reality. Advance, please. So we have brand stories. How do we go about creating brand stories? How do you do that? How do you create a brand story? Well, I've been working in brand creation for nearly half a century. That's sort of a big number when I think about it. I've been working for all sorts of people, big companies, experts, marketing companies, PR companies, and lots of small businesses and owner-operated businesses, entrepreneurs. And I find that for those people, the non-marketing experts, they can be a bit difficult to get their head around. How do we create a brand story? How do we do that? And so what I'm about to say now is for the non-experts, for the non-marketing experts, which is probably most of us in the room. I came up with a system, a technique based on growing a story tree. A story tree. Now imagine you're walking in a field, and in the distance you see a big tree, and what you see is the foliage, that big, lovely, massive foliage. But you walk towards it, and you see that foliage doesn't exist on its own. It's made up of leaves, and those leaves are attached to twigs, and those twigs are attached to branches, and those branches are attached to a trunk. And even though you can't see it, you know that trunk's growing out of the ground. There are roots underneath. A story tree is the same. Advance, please. So this system works where we grow our brand story the same way that you grow a tree. You start at the roots. We sit down and think really hard about what we're doing, and we write a concise description of who we are and what we do. Just a few hundred words. You've got everything in there. You say everything you need to say, but you say it very concisely because you're going to keep referring back to this document. Just a few hundred words, a page or so. And then from that, we distill our message a bit to get our core messages. And this forms the trunk of the tree. Now, the core messages are just a few sentences, a couple of phrases that we distill from our concise description. It's all part of sort of really thinking about who we are and what we do. The core messages are sort of like what I used to call an elevator pitch. When you're in a lift with somebody going up past floors and floors, and they sort of say, oh, what do you do? And you have a few sentences that you can just quickly state what it is that you do. That's what the core messages are. That's the trunk. Now, having sorted out the roots and the trunk, we can start to relax just a little bit and start to grow some branches. And this is where we're talking about the brand attributes. Now, this can be a little bit more evocative, a bit more descriptive, just simple words and phrases that just be a little bit more emotional in how we're dealing with it. It's a natural outgrowth of the work we did when we growing the roots, creating the trunk, and the branches just start to loosen up just a little bit. And having grown our branches, which are our brand attributes, we can hand it all over to the designer, if you like. That's one way of doing it. But usually when I'm in this process, I'm involved in it the whole way. But the leaves, the foliage, is where the creative process part starts. The bit that you actually get to see. You actually design the packaging, the branding, the logos. Start about the strap lines and what the copy concepts are going to be, the imagery. That's the leaves of our brand story tree. But we don't do that until we've done the base part. We've grown it from the ground up, the trunk, the roots, the trunk, the branches, and then we can start work on the tree, on the leaves. Buzz, please. Now, I thought one way of explaining how this sort of works in practice is just doing a very brief case history for a little while ago, just a short little project where a client had came to me. They had an existing product, a lovely product, a wonderful product, but their branding was letting them down. It just wasn't working. Can we advance, please? They had the basics of the packaging more or less sorted out, but it just wasn't doing justice to who they were and what their products were. Next, please. And next. And next. Right. So that's what they had, an existing product range, and it was a great product, but the branding was not very good. So we decided we'd go for a story tree. We'd start from the beginning. Next, please. just a reminder what we're doing, where we do the hard graft, growing the roots, sit down and really concentrate, writing a little page with everything in there, distilling the core messages from that to form the trunk, and then from the trunk, growing the branches, which are our brand attributes. And then we can start looking at the creative design part. Next, please. So I won't read the whole thing out, you can read it yourself, but I'll just do the first paragraph. So our concise description is this sort of information. We partner science with nature to produce high performance, natural cosmeceutical body care that naturally revitalizes skin and hair. Our beauty regime is proven and uncomplicated. We thoroughly understand the science necessary to deliver natural body care products to enhance the body's ability to rejuvenate and revitalize itself. And we can read all the rest. So that's our roots. That's the roots of our story tree. Next, please. Now, the core messages are just distilled from that. I'll read all these out. Alex is a natural alternative to soaps and other harsh sulfate-based skin cleansers. Alex cleans gently and helps your skin to revitalize naturally. Alex skincare formulations are unique blends of science and nature with the highest concentrations of natural active ingredients, aromatherapy, and essential oils and botanicals. Ingredients come from New Zealand and reliable bio-certified growers from around the world. Alex is a gentle and natural skincare range for your whole body, face, skin, and hair. Now that's really easy to get your head around. It's a really short number of simple phrases. As I say, it's like the elevator pitch. But that didn't come out of nowhere. We arrived at that having done the hard work, or the concentrated work of the concise description of the roots. Next, please. Our brand attributes. Now, this is where we just start to relax a little bit and just be a bit more evocative. Now, the two key things that come out of this was natural and science. That's the primary thing. And then the other things like sustainable, active ingredients, essential oils, it's healthy, unique formulations, revitalizing, eco certified, beauty helps skin look after itself, blending science and nature, simple body and skin care, and going back to natural and science. So these are the basic brand attributes of this particular product range of skincare products. So now we're ready to start growing some leaves, start growing and looking at the foliage. But because we already had an existing product range, next please, we weren't going to start from scratch. This is a little bit different in the sense that we had to evaluate what we got. And we know we're going to throw out a lot of the used bathwater, but the trick is to see, do we throw the baby out with it as well? Is there anything we can keep that they have already? So that was the first process. Next, please. And yes, we could. We could keep something. Their actual name was a lovely little name. The actual word mark they had already created was utterly appropriate, had an elegance and a precision which was entirely in keeping with a beauty product, but with the science as a primary part of looking at it. And we kept that. That was great. That was pretty much it. But it was worth keeping. And it was a great foundation because the name was lovely. The way it was presented was lovely. It was perfect. The next thing we developed, next thing please, was this thing called an ingredient wheel. And this is something we discussed about. We hadn't actually done anything with it. So we developed this much further for this design exercise. This is an ingredient wheel, and we created one of these for each of the products. The idea showing exactly what was in it, all the actual ingredients that go in it, the herbal stuff, some of the oils and the extracts and the essential oils go into it. Each ingredient wheel was unique to each product. Next, please. And then just a simple strap line just to bring it all together. Not so much being literal, but just being like a structure to hang the accompanies those other two elements. The main name style, the ingredient wheel, and this were the main primary things. Next, please. And the first application of that is packaging. The very first thing we did. And that was the primary thing because this was a small business. They didn't have a huge marketing budget. They weren't doing much advertising at all. Most of the promotion was in the package itself. So we tried to get this idea of science and nature working together. A beauty product It was for your skin. It was a health product, but it was technically arrived at. It wasn't, even though it was, these products were developed in a laboratory, it wasn't, that was completely natural. It was trying to get that mix of this precision of science, but based on using entirely natural ingredients to get the most out of each one. And that was trying to put all of that on the way the package looks. But that's what designers do. That's where we have fun trying to do all this unspoken stuff, trying to make it in as small as package as we got. So this was the basis of the brand identity that we developed from the story tree. Next, please. And just following it through with just presenting it in a way that is doing justice to what these products actually were. Next, please. And next, please. And that's basically the range of the products. So it was the reason I brought this particular product up, case history up, is that it's nice and short and it's looks good. And I can think that you're probably thinking, great, what a lovely design exercise that was. That seems a brilliant design, and we transformed that product. But what has it got to do with me as a Toastmaster? What's that got to do with Toastmasters? Next, please. Because you can use the same process as a Toastmaster and a Toastmasters club looking to increase your membership, promote yourself, do something out there, in a marketing sense. You can use the same process. The same process. Next, please. But with the story tree, you don't have to worry about the leaves. You don't have to worry about the foliage. It's already there. Toastmasters International, over the last 100 years, however long it's been going, has put all this stuff together. It's already grown the leaves for you. The foliage of the story tree is already there. Next, please. And in fact, there's so much of it, there's a huge amount of this stuff already waiting for you to use. It's already, the hard work, well, from a design point of view, the hard work has already been done for you. All you have to do is go to your story tree. Next, please. Because they've already got this brand material on hand. They've got all sorts of instructions how to use it. Next, please. And the portal that we talked about earlier with Canva and all this other stuff, it's already there. It's already there. So even though the story tree is a 4-stage process, roots, trunk, branches, leaves, in this scenario, it's only a 3-stage process. Next, please. We only have to do the roots, the trunk, and the branches. We don't have to worry about the top part. Still do that. So I'm suggesting that each club sits down and makes an effort to just write a little essay, if you like, so just a few hundred words, a concise description of what makes your club your club. What makes your club a Toastmasters club? Because you know what, it's not only the fact that each club is unique, each club is also representing what Toastmasters actually is. So you have to combine what's unique about your own club together with what Toastmasters actually does for its members, and that actually goes through the program. But just the whole idea of the concise description is that everything is in there. And then from that, you distill the core messages of your club, whatever it is. Whatever those things you think you can get out, you extract them from that description you put together. You also then go to the next phase and say, okay, let's see what we can do with being a little bit evocative about our brand attributes. Is there something in our club that we can just say 1 or 2 words that actually is possibly might be unique? Well, if it's not unique, at least it's actually good. It's good quality. Next, please. And then you're ready. As I said, you don't have to worry about the leaves because Toastmasters has already got all that material ready and waiting for you to use. But you use it because you know what you're doing. You've grown the roots, the trunk, and the branches. Next, please. And you can just go for it. It's yours. You're ready. You've done the hard work. You've grown the story tree, and you're ready to go. Last one. Go for it.